which is just a little bit east of Seattle.
But it's interesting, the whole dynamic of the wineries in Washington as opposed to here. You know, so it's a different setup. It's just, you know,
Very different. You know, this is, you know, there are plenty of wineries over in wine country, but you know, this town here, Woodinville, there's over 100 wineries there, and there's virtually no grapes grown around there.
wow.
Up where I am in, you know, Bellingham, Whatcom County, there's about 10 wineries. And, you know, all along the west side, there are a few wineries in virtually every community. But 90% of the wines that are made use wine grapes from Columbia Valley.
Wow. And then how does British Columbia factor into the winery scene in that green region in the Seattle area, Seattle area going up towards the
BC
border?
wine growing area is basically, if you see this lake here,
Right.
it's directly above here. So you go through Osoyoos, Oliver, Penticton, Kelowna, Vernon, that stretch, about 120 miles, that's BC wine country.
And it's pretty narrow?
It is, yeah.
Okay.
And it's, you know, very nice warm summers, not quite as warm as Columbia Valley. So BC does very well with, you know, the Alsatian whites, Chardonnay.
Okay.
They make some nice sparkling wines. I think the reds are a little hit and miss because they have trouble ripening them.
Talk about, like I've noticed some Pinots from Willamette and Columbia Valley, a little bit lighter in the color, to the point where they'll add a little Petite Syrah in there. Are they getting darker at all, or what's kind of going on with the Pinots?
You know, I found in recent years most of the Willamette Valley Pinot Noirs are getting to be much more fuller bodied.
Okay.
Now, 2011 was the year I made Pinot Noir from Willamette, and I think everybody had some of the same issues I did. That was a very cool year, very late spring, late bloom.
Okay.
You know, so wine grapes were still on the vine, you know, the 10th of November. You know, it's kind of getting a little bit late.
Wow.
You get to the point where, you know, there's always this tension between the winemaker and the grower. You know, the grower wants
That's
the grapes
367 days a year. Sure.
And the winemaker wants to leave them hang a bit, you know, more flavors, get better ripeness in years like 2011 was difficult.
Sure.
So I did have, with some of my Pinot clones in 2011, a little bit of trouble extracting color. So what I did was not necessarily blending wine per se, but I was making Syrah. And after I pressed my Syrah, I dumped a bunch of skins into the bins of Pinot that were still fermenting.
Right.
And you know, just had extra skins to pull out some color. So Columbia Gorge, cooler climate than Columbia Valley. It's one of the AVAs that spans 2 states. This wine was 80% neutral oak, 20% new oak.
What can you say about the Columbia River vis-a-vis Russian River?
Well, Columbia River, you know, is probably one of the 3 or 4 big rivers in the country, along with, you know, the Mississippi, the Missouri, and you know, it starts way up in BC. You know, it's dammed multiple times for water management, for power generation.
Okay. So it's a major venue. I mean,
absolutely.
Wow. Okay.
Absolutely. And you know, you get down here, and you know, the river along most of this stretch, where it's the border between Washington and Oregon, is well over a mile wide. I mean, it's a huge river.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Cheaper, and it's faster to bottle than reds.
Sorry.
It's faster to bottle?
Yeah, the reds spend 2 years plus in barrels. The whites, you know, I made white wines in October. I'll bottle them next week.
Yeah,
I'll be selling them next month.
I was just curious why that one was so much less expensive.
Well, you know, she had adjusted her prices. I mean, I actually charge more for the Viognier and less for the Chardonnay. But she said Chardonnay is easier to sell here, so we just flipped the prices.
Oh.
Viking is cat.